Ready?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Playing Dirty podcast. I'm Katie and this is my co-host Megan.
Hey guys.
Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 4. We're really on a roll here. So for you listening once again, thanks for tuning back in. For you new viewers, hope you enjoy this episode. Feel free to subscribe, follow us on socials. Really excited to be here today and we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, so my favorite weekend of the year, maybe. We're recording today on Saturday, and tomorrow we have the Monaco Grand Prix for Formula One and the Indy 500. So we've got the best of both worlds for me and Katie here.
Yeah.
But today we just want to talk about some updates, kind of look at the differences between IndyCar and Formula One, and then talk about what's upcoming this week in sports.
Yeah, super excited. There's been a lot happening, I feel like, between the NBA, between the Stanley Cup, between college sports. So we'll touch on all of it. But we'll kick us off here with F1, which is, as for those listeners that have been with us from the beginning, know that Megan is a super fan and super knowledgeable as well. And I am a casual viewer of IndyCar racing. So hopefully we can kind of have a good conversation about this and learn something new.
Yeah. So the first time when I was in high school, I went to Europe on a Europe trip, and we actually stopped in Monaco. And so I remember I didn't really conceptually understand where we were. Monaco's its own country, but it's near the south of France.
Okay.
There's a king and queen, I think. And they have a really big casino. There's no income tax.
Oh, wow.
It's a crazy percentage of the population are millionaires.
Oh, it's one of those. There. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I went to Monaco, that was the first time I actually heard of Formula One and was looking at the streets that they raced in. So one day I want to go back and actually see it happen for real.
Yeah. Are those tickets as expensive as the ones we were talking about last week, in Vegas?
Yeah, probably. That's why I said one day, Katie.
Right. I know. But maybe you can make it a Europe trip of it. I would love to go too.
That would be really fun.
And just save up and just make it a once in a lifetime experience.
I got invited to go fly out to Italy to go to the Italian GP with one of my friends here. But they're going in September.
Literally the worst timing. God.
I know. I was I don't know a schedule. I don't know what's happening. I can't buy a ticket and hop away for a weekend to Italy. That's a big ass.
Huge commitment. Huge commitment.
They'll be there without me.
You watch on TV, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
So what is special about the Monaco GP? Is that...
It's historically one of the oldest and most classic Formula One races. And they race through the streets. So
what?
Yeah. So they're on the actual streets of the city, and people are watching from their apartments, and they watch from the yachts and stuff. It's just very lavish and posh and over the top and elitist and all the things.
Sure.
So back in the day, the Formula One cars were not as big as they are now. So there's been some talk about Monaco being an outdated race just because the cars are too big for the width of the road. It's really dangerous. We saw crashes all throughout practice and qualifying. So Checo, he's the Mexican driver, and he's on Red Bull. He crashed in the first block of qualifying, so Q1. And then Lewis Hamilton, who, Lewis
Yeah,
Hamilton,
yeah.
From Mercedes, he crashed in Q3,
Mm.
and they basically have to like airlift crane the cars off the streets. And what
Wow.
ended up happening was because they lifted the cars up and to bring them back to the paddock, all the other teams got to see the undercarriage of the cars, which they typically don't see.
Oh my God.
So there was all of this stuff going around on Twitter about how like secrets were being revealed about, especially Red Bull's car. Mercedes, not so much, though. They debuted a bunch of new upgrades
Yeah.
this week. They were going to last weekend in Italy, but that race got canceled because the Emilia Romagna region had like really bad historic flooding. Really sad to see.
Yeah.
But Mercedes showed up with a not brand new car, but
You're joking.
yeah. So everyone's excited to see what happens.
I'm curious, like, how much do you know about the differences between the cars, like between like a Mercedes or I don't even know who else races in F1, but is there a lot of like particular differences that would make one car like faster than another?
There's a standard that they set for the car design every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to abide by those rules, but the interpretation of those rules is how each team kind of sets themselves apart. So when you look at the cars, you can physically see differences, the way that they're shaped and stuff like that. Typically, you see differences in the shapes of the car, the way that their side pods kind of are shaped, and then the back wings and the front wings, you can typically see differences. When you're actually watching the races, it's really hard to tell. You kind of have to like read up on it or ask someone who knows car design better.
Interesting. Yeah, I was reading. I guess we can kind of like jump to how like there's a huge contrast to IndyCar here, like the Indy 500. Yeah. So like Monaco's on the literal street, but IndyCar there's set tracks, and obviously there's like a circuit throughout the United States. But the Indy 500 specifically, like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, has the largest capacity sports venue in the world. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's insane.
I was actually listening to another podcast, and they were talking about all of the buildings that could simultaneously fit inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So it's Vatican City, Yankee Stadium, Liberty Island, the White House, the Roman Coliseum, Churchill Downs, and our personal favorite, the Rose Bowl Stadium.
Yeah, shout out.
But it's huge.
Like all of those at one time.
Yeah, yeah. They do 200 laps, and it's like the actual course is 2.5 miles. And like they have like part of a golf course on the inside. They were saying that if you're sitting in one part, you can't actually see what's happening in the other side of the track. So you're kind of like trying to follow along.
Wow.
Without seeing the whole thing. So it'd be cool to go there one day too.
My parents have been like a couple times, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like an absolute riot. And I'm sure the crowd that goes is also a riot, because I'd imagine it's in the middle of like literally Indiana. Like,
yeah.
I've only been to Indianapolis one time, and that was to watch my sister play a volleyball game. And I was like slightly unimpressed because, I don't know, it's the Midwest. It's like a random city. But I would imagine it brings like a ton of money into the city, and like just like probably such a hoot.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch tomorrow.
I am too. That's one race that I've like, it's almost like the Super Bowl of US racing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's like the one time you tune into IndyCar, and like the one NASCAR race you watch.
Exactly.
I'm sure everyone like, this is the one Formula One race they like know about.
Yeah. Big day for racers out there. Have you ever gotten into like go-kart racing?
No.
It's like a real thing.
Really?
Extremely competitive. I mean,
that's typically how Formula One racers start, is in kart racing. But I've never actually been. The only racing I've done is the the race ride at Disney World. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about. And then at Legoland when you're a kid, you get to
yeah.
get your driver's license.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
It's
always
as
fun.
close as I get.
When I was my dad and my brother came to Houston just like
Mm-hmm.
for the Final Four, so like a couple months
Mm-hmm.
ago. And we had a time in the afternoon on a Sunday, and we ventured like 20 minutes out of the city towards like Katy, Texas. And the Andretti family have a go-kart like warehouse. There's 3 tracks in one like siloed warehouse, and then the other side, like a connected warehouse, is like an arcade, a mini golf course, like
No way.
food bar. Yeah, it's insane. And it's like,
Did you go?
yeah, we went inside. We didn't race because
Oh.
we had already done mini golf at Tiger Woods mini golf thing that was like right across the street. So we were like kind of tapped out. But like it was a cool facility, and I was like, "Oh my god, like literally Andretti, they just parked up here." There's enough people in Houston that it obviously has good business, but yeah, that was cool.
That's sick.
Um one of my favorite things though, and I'm glad that you like had thought of this previously, so credit to you, is like they celebrate with milk.
Oh yeah.
Tell me that's not the
It's
most
gross.
American thing to do. Like that is very American, I think.
I would hope that they don't. Well, what if you have what if you're vegan?
Yeah.
You don't want milk.
Yeah, or lactose intolerant. They don't really drink it. They just like pour it on themselves.
Pour it on themselves.
Yeah.
That's gross.
It is gross.
I guess the history behind the milk celebration was there was one driver who said in like an interview that he liked to celebrate with like a cold glass of milk, and then like all things in America,
Right.
some big dairy producer just ran with it, and now they kind of own that celebration. So you can't get away from the dairy part of the milk celebration.
Oh.
No oat milk or almond milk for the California drivers.
If they wanted to be really progressive, maybe they could switch to like a oat milk or an almond.
But it's like the dairy farmers are the ones that are
Paying for it?
yeah,
Oh.
like sponsoring it.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I heard that they're trying to bring Got Milk back. You know, because like it kind of fell off. You know, Got Milk.
Is that the dairy alternative milk brand that does their advertisings, like the unadvertising advertisements? You know what I mean?
Got Milk was like the original branding for Big Dairy in America.
Oh, like the milk mustaches?
Yes, yes, yes.
Wait, what's the brand of oat milk that I'm talking about that does that?
The only brand of oat milk that I know is Khalifa Farms. Or how do you say it? Is that how you say it? Khalifa Kush Farms. Oat.
Maybe it's Oatly. Who's what I'm talking about?
What's your brand that you get?
What's my
Oat
milk brand?
Yeah.
I drink people are gonna think I'm so annoying, but either the Elmhurst milked oats because that has no like sugars or gums or any of those things in it. Or there's a brand called Malk, Malk. And two, they have like no fillers and no sweeteners and no gums and stuff like that in their milks.
I respect it.
Hey, hold on, let me
Okay.
explain this to you. I'm looking up the nutrition label of Oatly milk.
Okay.
There's rapeseed oil, which is not great for you.
Grapeseed oil?
Rapeseed oil.
Rapeseed oil.
It's another name for please hold.
Never heard of that in my life.
It's another name for canola oil.
Oh.
Not good for you. And then there's like dipotassium phosphate, calcium carbonate, tricalcium phosphate, sea salt, dicalcium phosphate, riboflavin, and then it's fortified with vitamins. But the milk that I drink, the ingredients, it's just like oats.
That's good. Yeah. Honestly, that's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, little aside there on our milk preferences. I will say sometimes. Go ahead.
One time my coworker tried to insult me by saying that I seemed like the type of person that would drink milk before going to bed.
That is kind of rude. Nobody does that anymore. So
I know people that do that.
Drink milk, like whole milk before bed. I think I used to do that when I was younger. My grandma would be like, "Do you want some warm milk before bed?" And I don't know, I probably would. But growing up, I would always have to have a glass of milk, like cow's milk with dinner, and we had to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I would never do that now.
My parents did that with my brother, and he refused. So then it started to be chocolate milk. In which hindsight was not a great choice.
Yeah.
But then once they had me, they just went out the window. And I said I didn't want to drink milk, and they never made me.
That's great. Yeah. I on occasion, I'll treat myself with like cow's milk. But usually I try to err on plant-based milk. I started with almond for a while, and then I realized almond is actually super bad for the environment.
Yeah.
So I haven't been as on board with oat milk as you are, just because I don't know why, just haven't gotten into it. But
I'm on the almond game right now, but there's just, I don't know, the more you dive into American agricultural food processing practices, you just go down a deep dark hole of things you didn't want to know.
Oh God, you can't even start. I'm terrified of. I do not trust the American food and beverage industry with my health.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't.
Speaking of differences between like US and Europe and Indian F1, I saw this. So this is kind of an aside also, but I saw this like comparison come out of the same exact types of food in the UK versus in the US. Yeah. Like ketchup, like cereal, and like the list of ingredients on the US version versus the European or the UK version is like 100 times different. Like there's dyes, there's like all these extra chemicals in the US, and they're just lingering, like they're just not regulated the same way it is in Europe, and it's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to racing. We can kind of talk about like generalities and differences between F1 and IndyCar. Obviously, Europe versus America, right? Although F1 is now bleeding into the US, which is awesome.
Right.
Indy and F1 race on street and road courses. Indy does?
They have, from my reading, there's a couple street courses, but mostly tracked.
Okay, yeah. It'd be cool to see a street race.
I know.
Seems kind of like down and dirty. Like
I feel like I need to add the IndyCar races like to my calendar of things to watch as adamantly as I would get up and watch a Formula One race at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because, like, why wouldn't I like IndyCar just as much, you know? And I just don't watch it.
I wonder what people... You probably have a good perspective on this. Like, what do people in Europe think of IndyCar?
The Formula One drivers, when they talk about it, I mean, I don't know what the general public thinks about it. I'm sure most people don't even know it exists, really. Mm-hmm. But... there's a lot of crossover between the Formula One drivers and IndyCar drivers.
Really?
Yeah. So sometimes you'll see former Formula 1, 2, and 3 drivers go into IndyCar as like not retirement, obviously, but like quote unquote a step down. And then just because of how like the global racing licenses work, you need, I think it's called a super license, something like that. It's really hard for the IndyCar drivers to make it into Formula One. So like right now, like Colton Herta has really been a huge name of someone they want in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't get a license. And it's because the like racing board, the racing
Mm-hmm.
gods up in the sky dictate what races will qualify you for points. And then you need a certain amount of points to like get this license to be able to race in Formula 1, 2, 3. So I know, and the Formula 1 drivers don't like driving around round circuits.
Yeah.
They like the way that the Formula 1 tracks are built and shaped. So I don't know. I don't know if they have like opinions about it, like really strong opinions about it.
They probably just like don't even think twice about it, realistically.
Yeah.
If you're already in F1, 2, or 3. By the way, didn't know there was a 2 or 3, but is that just
there's Formula 1, 2, 3. There's the Formula 1 Academy, which is the all girls one. And it's an offshoot. There used to be a Formula W, I think it was called, that ended because of funding issues. So now they have the Formula 1 Academy. And then there's Formula E, which is the electric car racing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Formula E also races around the United States too. So you can go to those races.
Wow. Do the cars look like radically different, or they're just electric powered?
Let's look up a photo. I don't think they look like super different, but
Wow, I've never heard of that, but that's so interesting.
no, they don't look too different. They look more futuristic.
Ah, that fits. Maybe Elon's got his hands in there.
Oh,
God,
he was at Miami.
The race, the F1 race. Not surprised.
I know.
But Indy cars and F1 cars are very different as well.
Yeah.
So Indy cars are lighter, smaller. Their fuel tank is smaller, generally slower, lower horsepower, like by half.
Yeah. They do top around the same speeds though.
They do.
So you get up to like 240, they were saying, and the way that the Indy cars are built, it was saying like if a Formula 1 car went and tried to race an Indy car on an Indy car track, the Indy cars would just smoke them.
Right.
And then generally Formula 1 tends to be slower overall in the actual race because of the way that the tracks are shaped and the kind of confounding variables.
I read that Formula 1 cars have better torque and like turning speed versus IndyCar on like, which makes sense, right? IndyCar is like circle. So they're straight in turns, and IndyCars like can top speeds on like straight, like whatever, like no turns, which makes a lot of sense. But the engineering that goes into these cars has to be like insane. I'm sure if you develop the design to the standards or whatever it is, and it's obviously very performance driven, like I bet you can make a ton of money.
Yeah, there's like a really big correlation between how Formula One. So IndyCar has manufacturers for their engines and then the chassis, like the body of the car. And so the same person's manufacturing the body of the car for all of theirs. And then in Formula One, there's you also have to pick an engine manufacturer. There's more options. But then each team is like individually designing their car and then manufacturing it and then testing it and all those things. And so when you have like thousands of people working on like this one car, it really impacts how just like day-to-day cars are made. And like the Formula One design trickles into so many other industries because, they're working on like sustainability efforts and they're testing new fuel, and the way that they work as teams and the way that just Formula One functions. A lot of people will go and study how they do it and then bring that back to like really big companies. Like I don't know, big tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was someone in town who works for a defense company who was
Mm.
talking about how they try and model their leadership after how Formula One does it. And so they really have a big impact kind of across the board.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, too, because they're spending Formula One, their cost cap is $135 million.
For a car?
For both cars. So it's like 2 cars per team.
Okay.
And then an Indy car, I don't know.
I think it's 10.
How the teams work, but yeah, it's like 10 million. So, I mean, just even the money input is just vastly different.
Right. There's so much that goes into just building these cars that like could be taken away into any other performance car, not racing car, but like performance car. And I know in Europe, like performance sport cars maybe like are more popular than in the US, but like it's still a huge luxury market. So
Right.
I'd imagine people are willing to like definitely dish out to like get that technology.
If I one day had the money, I would.
What car would you get?
That's a great question. If I could pick in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
if I had to pick a car.
Wait, can I guess?
Sure.
I feel like you're going to say Tesla.
No.
Okay.
Do you want to guess again? I'm going like
luxury.
Super fancy luxury, yeah.
Yeah, I'll guess. Audi.
No.
Okay, I don't know.
I want an electric Ferrari.
Oh, do they make those?
There's talk. But no, there isn't one yet.
I'm sure they will come out.
But if one came out, that would be my dream car.
Wow, good to know. I didn't know you were like, are you like a car girl?
No, not particularly. I've been riding with my car since I was 15 and a half with my permit.
The Volvo.
My power steering failed the other day.
I'm sorry.
I was turning out of I turned in to get gas. So like turned into the station. And then to get out, I needed to turn all the way left and then turn into oncoming traffic all the way right. So I turned all the way left. And then when I went to turn into traffic, it was 3 lanes. And I was turning into like obviously the most near lane to me. And I couldn't turn my wheel to the right.
Oh God.
Like I literally used my whole and there's cars coming into the other lanes. It was so scary.
Did you make it?
I used like every muscle in my body to turn the wheel.
That is terrifying.
I know. I don't know what happened.
Is this the first time
I was all shaky?
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I was all shaky. And I texted my parents. I was like, my car just tried to kill me. Help.
No, that's actually really scary. That's not okay. Because if you were on the freeway or something too.
Well, I was driving to Phoenix for, I saw Lizzo in concert on Wednesday.
Please tell me about that.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But my mom made me take her car.
That's a great idea.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's just, don't even risk it. But the Lizzo concert was great.
She's so talented. And you know what the best part was? She played the flute. She's like a insane flute player. And she did like all this crazy stuff on the flute. And it was like show-stopping. Wow. Granted, going to see Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour has skewed my concert going experiences forever. Because like nothing will match the gravity of that concert, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was State Farm Stadium. There was like, 60,000 people there.
Right.
And then this one was at Footprint Center, so where the Phoenix Suns play. And it just felt like so small in comparison. Great. She was amazing. But like, once you see Taylor Swift, you're like, nothing compares.
The video you sent me looked like it was like packed. Like it was almost sold out.
I sent you the video of Lotto performing.
That's right. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That was...
It was. The whole show was sold out pretty much.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But that video you did send me, Lotto, I loved the message. She was like so women's rights and like, but very vulgar.
Yeah. Me and my cousin were like, we felt like old.
Old?
Like old in the sense of like we were watching it and we were like, what are children doing these days?
Yeah.
It was very shocking.
I remember, like, I feel like when we were growing up, there weren't really artists that were as outspoken in that way. And if they were, like, I was very shielded from them because I wasn't exposed to a lot of that growing up. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's all for the better. And if you're not
into it,
just don't listen. Don't listen.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so what are the main rule differences between F1 and Indy? Because I'd imagine, obviously, US versus Europe, like, there has to be different track. Like, there's probably different rules.
I didn't read a ton into... I don't know a ton about how IndyCar actually works.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that Formula One cars refuel on their pit stops. Or Formula One cars don't refuel on their pit stops.
Okay.
Because of safety reasons. Back in the day, they did refuel. And they stopped doing that. And Indy cars still do. So pit stops are longer. I know in Formula One, you have to pit at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to use 2 different, like, compound types of tire.
Right.
But I don't really know how the IndyCar side works.
So IndyCar, there are way more pit stops. Like,
really?
Yes. Like, at least as a viewer, I don't know, like, the technical side of it. Pitting is obviously a really big deal, and the timing is important. Like, I'm sure it is with F1. Mm-hmm. But at least as a viewer, it feels like there are, like, many, many pits. And that has to be due to, like, the size of the fuel tank, right? Mm-hmm. And the tires and, you know, whatever type of track it is and how fast they're going, right? I'm sure there's a lot of variables. But I'm wondering, so you said Indy refuels during pits, but F1 doesn't. So do they just go until their tank runs out? Like, how does that work?
So the IndyCar races, at least the Indy 500 coming up, they're doing 200 laps around a 2.5 mile track.
Right.
Monaco is 79 laps around a 2-mile track. So the length of the race is very different. And they don't use up all their fuel in Formula One. And you have to have a certain amount of fuel left in your tank by the end of the race.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so they'll go and they'll measure how much fuel is left, and then they'll sample it for testing.
Because people could cheat?
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of weight requirements, so your car has to be within a certain weight. And so, like, the drivers themselves get weighed before and after the races too.
Wow.
And then... yeah, you have to have a certain amount of fuel left in your tank. There's only one time in, like, the past couple of years that I've seen there be a fuel issue. Mm-hmm. And usually the teams are very aware of it, so they can deal with it. But there was once where someone, like, didn't have enough fuel left in their tank for sampling and then got a penalty.
So I can see how much of a huge safety issue it is to refuel while you're, like...
There's this really famous incident in Formula One where I forget who it was, but they accidentally drove away while the the gas thing was, like, in the hole of the car. Yeah. And it was, like, flapping in the wind, like, as it drove away. I'm surprised. Completely ruined this guy's race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's lucky it didn't catch on fire.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Or injure any of the pit crew.
That's true as well. Oh, man. I imagine being a pit crew person. Mm-mm. Stressful. Your cortisol levels are, like, at 1,000, but it's so intermediate. It's like, all right, here he comes. And then you just go do it, and then he leaves, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh.
I can
Oh,
relax.
God. Yeah, no, not for me. No, absolutely not. Cool. Well, I'm excited to watch the Indy 500. What time is the Monaco race?
So it's I'm in Arizona right now, and it's at 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, let me double check that.
Pacific time, right?
We're
Are you on Pacific time now?
we change because we don't have daylight savings time. So
Right.
we're on like two different time zones throughout the year, and I don't know which one we're on right now.
I
But
think
we're
you're
the same time. Is it 3:22 p.m. in
It
California?
is. It is.
Yeah, we're on the same time.
Okay, perfect.
The race is at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
I'm gonna eat some wings tomorrow for the Indy race. I think 6 a.m. is too early to drink a beer and eat wings, but
I know. Indy starts at what, like noon?
it's some yeah, like 11 or something like that. Yeah, it'll be cool. Good couch day. I know we talked about that, but it's
Perfect couch
gotta
day.
be a couch day, man. You know a lot. Like I am actually like really impressed with how much you know about F1. So good on you.
Thanks.
In other news, so DeAndre Hopkins was released from
The Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
Cost salary caps.
Oh.
He formerly was suspended for violating the anti-doping policy. He came back from suspension, played for the Cardinals, and I guess it's a money issue. That's kind of what I understood. And he's a hot commodity.
Is he?
Yeah. He came out and said that like the biggest things he was looking for was the culture that the quarterback sets for the rest of the team. And then he was saying that he's had so much turnover in management in his time that he really wants to be in like a stable environment. So just reading up, they were saying like either the Bills, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Ravens, Panthers, the Cowboys might grab him, or the Texans, which is his old team, and they traded him. So a little bit of bad blood, but it's under like new management. So I think it'll have a lot to do where he goes. I think he'll be expensive. So there's obviously money issues for the teams to run into, but whoever the quarterback is of the team.
Did he say anything about like liking playing with Kyler Murray?
I don't think he didn't say anything bad about the Cardinals leaving. But I also didn't really see him comment on his past per se.
Interesting. Okay.
I saw a lot of him talking about where he might go.
Well, I hope he comes to the Texans at least while I'm there.
That'd be really fun.
It would be fun because the Texans are so bad.
Well, there's new draft picks and
True.
new trades, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, true. On the college side of things, Pac-12 baseball tournament is happening, right?
Tonight, so the championship is tonight. It's Arizona versus Oregon. Our friends from University of Oregon have already texted me.
Of course.
And I said, we're going duck hunting, baby.
Let's go. I'm definitely not rooting for Oregon. Definitely Arizona. Yeah.
It's up in Scottsdale, actually. And the whole Pac-12 tournament was up in Scottsdale, and I wanted to go, but it was like Monday or like Wednesday to Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, who has the time on a weekday?
Who doesn't work to go to that? Who at all could go to that? Unless you're like a stay-at-home parent, like,
or I mean, like
kids.
Just kids in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
On the women's side, the Women's College World Series is still going on. That is my household's favorite event of the year, probably.
Aww.
So 8 teams will advance to the Women's College World Series, and so far, Oklahoma, Stanford, Florida State, and Oklahoma State have made it in.
Let's go.
So that'll be at the end of this week. It'll start, and then it'll last for about a week.
I feel like the Oklahoma teams are usually pretty good at softball.
Oklahoma has the longest winning streak like ever at the moment.
Wow.
I just retweeted it. Follow us on Twitter. 48 consecutive wins.
Wow.
It's an NCAA record.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Those girls are insane. Insanely talented.
Yeah. Man, I always forget softball is like one of those sports it's fun to watch when it gets to the end of it.
Yeah.
It's really intense. UCLA has had a nice little dub.
I know. This was actually, I saw this because I got an email from UCLA Athletics.
That's how we saw it too. We saw it in the car. And my mom's like, "Oh my God, singles national championship."
I know. One of the UCLA freshman women tennis players won the national championship, and she didn't drop a set as a freshman.
I wonder where she played in high school or where she's from.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's amazing. Let's go. Well, excited for UCLA. Love another one.
That's awesome.
We talked about this a little bit, I think, over the last couple weeks, where the Oakland A's have like officially gone to Vegas.
Yeah.
We talked about how the Tropicana is getting absolutely demolished. But they recently came out with some renderings for what the new stadium is going to look like. Yeah. And it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually pretty small. It's the second smallest stadium in the MLB, but right on the Strip.
Yeah. Retractable roof. Like, I think the capacity is like 30,000 people maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was actually having this conversation with someone else, is like the location is so crucial. And having like multiple professional sports in that area, and on the Strip, people are going to go to hotels, they're going to drink, they're going to go to the game, they're going to gamble. I wonder if there's going to be like a built-in like casino in the stadium, or like any sort of like gambling. Are you allowed?
I wonder. Maybe.
I don't know, but I definitely want to go. And just whenever it's done, I don't know when it's going to be commissioned and put out, but
yeah, it'll be crazy.
Yeah.
We'll do our weekly NBA playoff update. I'm very sorry, Katie.
Yeah, that was such a bummer for anyone who's a Lakers fan. I always have this thing where I think the NBA is kind of rigged. So I was thinking when the Nuggets were up 3-0 that, the Lakers were going to show up and just like make this like great comeback and then take the Nuggets down for a couple of games, and then it would, be a toss up. Mm-hmm. It came down to game 4. It was like low 100 scores for both teams. It was a 2-point game. And the last play was basically like LeBron had the ball. Of course, they give him the ball. And he went to kind of like drive in to either make a layup or like a quick jump shot. And he just got like contended by like 3 people. And he threw it up and he didn't make it. And that was the end of the game. It was really like anticlimactic and really sad, really disappointing. But now that the Lakers are done, I'm rooting for the Heat. So,
all right. You heard it here. One of the things that kind of came up in NBA news this week was this new flop rule. They're making if they call a flop on a player, the penalty is a technical free throw.
Really?
Something like that. So I guess they're like trialing it out, which I wasn't super aware of this, but the way that the professional sports teams will like trial out their new roles in the minor leagues. Mm-hmm. So I guess they're going to try it out in the G leagues and whatnot and see how it goes. But that, and then there's this new investigation into one of the NBA referees for having an anonymous Twitter account and then like commenting on posts about himself.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't see anything like awful on the articles about it. It's not like a huge scandal or anything on Twitter.
Yeah.
he has this Twitter account that he supposedly runs, and he has 0 followers and follows 5 people, and will like comment about himself or like tweets about himself.
It's like a burner account that he just
Yeah.
uses to like hype himself up. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
okay,
so
I mean, fine.
I'm excited to watch the Celtics Heat series, and that continues tonight. But if the Celtics come back, that'll be history in of itself. So watch out, Katie.
No, I
Watch
know.
out.
I know, because the Celtics have won the last 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm...
Don't blow that 3-0 lead.
I know, right? And you want the Celtics, right? Just for the contention of it?
Yeah, just for the contention.
Okay, we'll find out. Yeah, I'm nervous. Shaking in my boots. Okay, so we've done this before, and I actually really liked it. And so I want to make this like maybe a segment that we do every other week or every week. Basically like Q&A, because I think we have a lot of interesting things to say, but that sometimes doesn't come out in giving updates about sports. But I'm going to like rapid fire, quote unquote, some questions. Some of them are sports related, some aren't. The first one is, so what is your favorite workout or like sport that you would play as an adult in like some sort of league or just for fun to stay competitive?
Beach volleyball, hands down.
Yeah.
Never gets old. It's a great sport. But workout wise, running probably. That's something that I want to keep doing.
Can you tell me how to get over the hump of like I don't run. I'll run, but it's for exercise for like 20 minutes and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. How do you get over the hump of like this is actually like an activity that I'm doing and like go for distance?
Just being in Arizona, there's the draw of going outside and like running through the scenery that's like very life-giving. So that's enticing, but me and my best friend decided to sign up for a race, and obviously they cost money, so you're financially invested in it, but we signed up for a half marathon together, and then we made it a competition. So every week on the board we would write how many miles every day that we ran.
Oh wow.
And then we did the half marathon together. So I'll tell you, we ran the half marathon and then I stopped running just completely because I didn't have any motivation to do it anymore. But we're thinking of running a marathon together in December. So
wow.
Once you're financially invested and you have a buddy who's doing it with you, then you can like get up and go.
Yeah. Makes it easier. Stay motivated.
Absolutely.
I just never can get past like 2 miles. I lose it.
Recently, I haven't made it more than a mile.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, what is a theme song for your life right now? I know this might be like a loaded question, but
that's a good question. Taylor Swift just dropped her new Midnights album. The new version of it. And there's new songs on it. So I'm going to go with Hits Different by Taylor Swift.
And why is that?
You just have to go listen to it.
Okay.
Once you listen to it, we can pause and you can listen to it right now if you want to.
Okay.
But just listen to it and just like have the lyrics up. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'll listen afterwards. I feel like I thought it was going to be a Taylor Swift song.
It has to be a Taylor Swift song.
Okay, gold versus silver jewelry. For all the girlies out there, for all the gold girlies, I'm a gold girly.
Gold. And if you don't know me as a gold jewelry person,
then you don't know me.
You don't know me at all. No, I'm just thinking back. Do you ever get a gift from a significant partner in your life and it's silver jewelry? And you're like, maybe you don't know me very well. I've never worn a piece of silver jewelry in my life.
Literally. Have you ever seen me in silver? Absolutely not. You'll not catch me dead in silver.
No. So,
yeah, no.
That was a moment of reckoning.
Oh boy. That's one thing. If you're a guy and you are buying a girl jewelry, you need to know. Like,
you have to know what color.
You have to know what color. Even if it's not like the exact piece of jewelry she would want. The color is what makes like the biggest difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, gold or dye. Okay, here's another one for the girls. Ideal nail length and shape. And color. I'll throw that in.
Ooh. Okay, so if we're talking being productive and your nails not hindering your productivity because they're so long, short.
Yeah.
And my nails are short right now, and I feel like I've lost my personality. Typically, I like them to have them long.
Yep.
You know, I'm a big press-on nails girl.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Gluing them on all the time. With work, it doesn't really work out. But if I could pick in my ideal world, they'd be long, and then I do straight across.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just how my natural nails have always been. But
okay.
Straight across. And then I like a French manicure.
Yeah. Keep it classy.
If we're going fun, I like the glitter French, like fade. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, you can get them at CVS. Yep, I know exactly.
Those ones are my favorite.
Those are
cute. But when you show up to work with those on, I feel like people don't quite take you as seriously as your French manicure. So I've been going French.
Oh, I love it. No, you can. French is very safe, and I like a nice French. I'm with you. I can't wear nails for work because I have to type all the time, and I haven't long nails that I like the length that I would want them. It's not conducive to.
It's really hard to
like. I just can't. I wish I could. Yeah. You with like small things, I'd imagine it's really difficult to like physically, not just typing.
Yeah.
But I remember us being in our college apartment, like gluing nails on like once a week, changing them.
And then I would pop them off to type an essay and then put them back on when we were done.
Yes.
Like, oh shoot, I have a final coming up. It's online because it was COVID. So I have to type like 6-page essay on, cells. And so I was like, time to take the nails off.
You got to time the manicure that you give yourself with the final season. It's just so funny. But like, I echo what you say. I feel like my personality is like so much more me when I have longer nails on. Not like trashy nails, but like real nails. And I bite my nails, sadly. Like I have just a really bad habit. So I never have nice nails. That's a me problem, but I haven't had long, pretty nails for so long. And you can't go to the salon because they're $1,000.
Yeah. So expensive.
Yeah.
I can do my own nails pretty well. I have my own dip kit and everything, but I've just like haven't had the time to do them because it takes me a while. So hopefully I'll get back into it. But
yeah,
I don't pay for my nails to get done anymore. There's no way.
Yeah, no shot. I
haven't even paid for a haircut in months. Look
yeah, your hair is super long. Wow, I'm jealous. Your hair grows so fast.
I know.
Okay. Country, I know we talked about like you've been abroad, you studied abroad, but country that you would live in and play a sport in. Because in Europe, like rugby's way bigger, soccer's way bigger, but there's also other sports, right?
I don't know if I have a good answer to like the country I'd play a sport in. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I don't know what sport that would be. Volleyball? But like I'm too small. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. If I had to move abroad, and I've been thinking about this because I can move anywhere in the world once I'm done with my degree. So
Wow.
I lived in Dublin, and I absolutely love Dublin. It's one of the best cities I've been to. Um, but London, maybe. I feel like London would fit my personality
I
pretty
think so
well.
too,
I
yeah.
just don't want to be that far away from my family.
I know. I've thought about going abroad too, but it is far and it's a big change.
Yeah, you could only come home like once every, what,
Year?
3, 5? Yeah. I mean, it gets
Holidays.
tough.
Yeah. No, but living abroad is like totally a thing that I would love to do in this life.
Where would you go?
I want to go to Spain.
Yeah.
And like I used to know Spanish really well. Like I took AP Spanish in high school. I tested out of language in college. Like I used to know it. Obviously, you and I both have grown up in states where Spanish is like a very like prevalent language.
Right.
So it'd be cool to like pick that back up and then live in a place and be like fully immersed. And something about Spain, again, I've never been, but I think there's something to it that feels like really organic and like it has the mountains, it has the ocean. People feel like they like really love their lives there, and it's like a healthy, balanced, like, but still like very vibrant. Like Barcelona is like seems like a amazingly like vibrant cultural place. So I'd love to spend some time there. I always like I tell my boyfriend this all the time. I'm like, I want to open a coffee shop in like Spain and like or like a flower shop or something and like just like
just live like a small,
simple,
happy,
right? Because I feel like people are just like generally happier. I don't know anything, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day.
Have you been to Canada before?
Never, but I do have a passport, so I should just go. Maybe when I'm in Seattle.
You should go into Vancouver. It's also one of the best cities I've been to.
You've been there?
It. Yeah, we went to Vancouver.
Like your family?
When my brother graduated college, we went to Vancouver for about a week, and it's beautiful.
Is it similar to Seattle or?
It's like, it's like city-esque, but like very clean. Like not like New York City where like everything's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
It's a very clean, sleek city. And then there's beaches, there's oceans, there's lakes, there's mountains, there's skiing. Like it's kind of like everything in one spot. And we were there in the summer, so the weather was beautiful.
Yeah.
But it kind of has everything you would want.
I'm telling you, like, I'm really drawn to the Pacific Northwest, so we'll see.
Really?
Yes, I'm hoping I like it when I go because I think, because it's on the West Coast still, but it's like not LA, and it's, it's not California. It's green. It's like, it feels like wild almost. It's like almost between like city and like wild nature.
Yeah. We've been to Oregon together. Are you more drawn to like the Seattle area because it's a city, or
great question,
a smaller city like you'd find in Oregon?
I'm so torn because it depends on what life I want to live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I want a city girl life? Like I've been to Seattle multiple times. I've driven up the Oregon coast. We've been to the Oregon coast. I've camped on the Oregon coast, and I've been to Portland, Seattle, right? So like I've also been Eastern Washington. So I feel like I have an idea of the landscape, but if I wanted to do like a more simple life and like just like relax and not worry about being in a city, I think I would be somewhere near the ocean.
Yeah.
Of course. But city, I'd probably go Seattle over like a Portland or even like a Northern California. I'm not ready to take a pay decrease by moving to Oregon. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the only thing that might get me is the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But I like saw this random thing, like Instagram totally reading my mind on these ads or whatever it was. Like something came up, like a reel, and it said like Washington actually doesn't get the most rain of any city. Like it people think they have this conception that like, oh my God, it has like one of the most like dense precipitation of like any city. And it's actually not. It's only like 6th or 7th on the list. They said New York gets, I don't know how like valid this whatever source was, but like New York gets more rain, like a couple other cities they mentioned, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like maybe it won't give me seasonal depression, but we'll see.
You're gonna trial it out.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
When do you leave?
I leave in August.
Okay.
So, like, end of August, I will be all settled. And then I'll be there through Thanksgiving. And then I'll come back with my family. So, if you're around, feel free.
I'll be around Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, you'll be heads down for sure.
I know. My boss was like, you're gone next week, aren't you? I was like, yeah, I'm gone Thursday and Friday. And he's like, and then you're like taking a week off, aren't you? And I was like, no, I'm not.
You should.
I might.
You definitely
But
should.
I don't have anything planned.
That's okay. Maybe we can do a spur of the moment thing.
You need to fight the burnout before it starts.
Exactly. Okay, so we kind of touched on this, but big upcoming events this week. Obviously, Celtics Heat Game 6 tonight, so I will definitely be watching that. Actually, my family and I are going to a graduation party for Jack at one of his like buddies' parents' house. So
shout out to Jack.
Aww.
Graduating high school.
Shout out Jack at going to Fresno State to play football. What a king!
Yeah. Now we have to add Fresno State to our list of teams to keep up with.
Aw, yeah, definitely. I'm excited for him. WNBA is in full swing.
Yeah, and Brittany Griner for the Phoenix Mercury is killing it. When I was up there for the game, there's a giant billboard of Brittany Griner up there.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, I'm back.
I love it.
It was sick.
Back from Russia.
The Stanley Cup obviously is still going on, so the Panthers are in the finals, and then we're still watching the Golden Knights and the Stars play it out to see who makes it to the finals. So Game 5 is also tonight, and then if no one wins, Games 6 and 7 to follow.
Sweet. Obviously, the bulk of this episode, Indy 500 tomorrow and Monaco GP. Tune in there.
And like we already said, the Women's College World Series starts on June 1st. So you can tune into all those games.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening to episode 4. And I know it was some chit chat, but hopefully you learned something about F1 via Megan, and hope everyone is, enjoying these episodes and continues to come back. We're open to comments. Please DM us and support us on social media. We also have a website now, so kind of a landing page for all of our content. You can find everything there. Please, email us, DM us. We want to interact with you guys, and we appreciate all the support so far.
Yep. Thank you again. And if you guys could take 5 seconds out of your day, go to the platform you're listening to us on and give us a 5-star review if that's what if you so desire. That would really help us. And we have really loved doing this. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.